Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Disney Resorts Podcast. My name's Kenny Hayes, and I'm joined alongside, as always, by the one, the only Walt Ramirez.
Hey, Ken, how's it going? It's good to be back this week. Missed doing the
We,
show.
I know we did. I did miss doing the show, so we just want to apologize to all our fans and listeners out there. With our busy work schedules, the summer vacation lined up, we just could not coordinate a taping for our last episode, so we do truly apologize. But for episode 13, I think we got a good one. First, we're going to jump into the quarterly earnings report that recently came out. Then we are going to be discussing Disney maybe coming up into a betting service. We'll get more into that shortly. Changes have been announced to the park reservation system. We are also going to do a good topic, the good and bad of Disney Springs. And then if you've been listening to us over the last several weeks, I will be going to Disney World. By the time this airs on Monday morning, I will be leaving for Walt Disney World. I'll be staying at the Boardwalk Villas for 4 days. So we'll jump into what I have planned as of now. And then we'll wrap up this week's show with some Walt Disney World Resort news. So, Walt, you want to take us into Disney's finances for quarterly number 3?
Sure, be glad to. So it looks like they picked up subscribers, 14.4 million new subscribers to Disney Plus. I took a look at that and I said to myself, gee, I wonder how many of those folks took advantage of the 25% off room rates.
A lot.
And jumped on that to get that subscription. But they made an announcement about capital expenditures that they're looking to spend about $6 billion over the course of the next few years. When you look at what they've spent in 2019 and what they spent in 2021, it's kind of in line. It looks like they're not going to probably spend a lot of money on park expansion, maybe some refurbishments and some maybe new rides, but it doesn't look like it's going to be much more than that. The interesting thing that I thought about this was the sports betting part of it. It looks like they may spin off ESPN so that they can delve into more of a maybe linking up with a DraftKings or a Caesars Entertainment to do sports gambling. They don't want to obviously connect that with Disney World or Disneyland itself. Wouldn't look good. Although I think it would be a good idea because this way I could wager as to what time I would be getting on my rides or ever.
That's true. I don't think Mickey would like that, but
will I get my lightning lane today? What's a 50-50 chance, I guess, but so one of the things that I know that you probably saw this also was Bob Chapek mentioning that, which I thought was kind of an odd statement to make, that he is cognizant of the demand for Disney product and that pricing will reflect that going forward. So in other words, if we stay busy, prices are going to remain high, and if we slow down, then we'll drop prices and give people deals. So I don't know how you felt about hearing that from him, but I thought that was a little strange for a CEO to make that kind of a comment.
Well, I heard two takes to this, because I heard people say, well, he was talking to the shareholders and he was not talking to the general public like us, the fans who go time and time and time again. So it's a double-edged sword, because I understand where he's come from when he's talking to the people that pay his salary and own major interest in the company. However, when you talk to people like us, it just doesn't fly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We sit here and we go, well, so if we keep going, you're going to punish us by keep going, and you're going to raise the prices. Yet, if we stop going, you're going to lower prices to just lure us back to then raise prices again. So I don't really agree with it. But then some people said, well, like I said, he was talking to the investors. I understand that. But no matter what, if he's going to say something, even in private to the investors, it's still going to get out. So, and that's, it just, I don't know, it doesn't sit well with me. I understand it on a financial standpoint because the investors love him because, well, he makes them a boatload of money. I mean, look at the quarterly earnings. I know as of least for sales, since the sales are up 40% over 2019. That's pre-pandemic. So I understand, and that's sales meaning like buying goods and stuff like that. It's a lot to do with pent-up demand. But, I mean, so you're going to penalize us for literally showing up and spending more money. I just don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that and I said it just didn't really make sense, even from an event. If he's speaking to the investors, it didn't make sense there either because they know what's going on. They know the numbers. They see them before we do. So you don't really need to preach to them that we're gonna charge people more if they keep coming. So that doesn't. It was just an odd thing to say. I think a more diplomatic standpoint should have been taken by him. I think he should have thanked all of the Disney loyal fans that they have that have come back after the pandemic to still, frequent Disney World and feel comfortable coming back and traveling. I think that would have been a little bit more diplomatic thing to say than to let everybody know that, we're gonna nickel and dime you to death as long as you keep coming. I mean, that's kind of brazen to really, if I, personally,
I agree.
Come out and say that, so, but that's Bob,
But it doesn't surprise me. Anything this guy says doesn't surprise me. His actions don't surprise me. But like I said a few minutes ago, Walt, as long as he continues to make these people money, he's not going anywhere. Park reservation system's not going anywhere.
No, that's true. I agree.
And we're all guilty of it because, just looking at some of this stuff, even with, the chief financial officer, Christine McCarthy, she's even, talking about attendance following the COVID-19 pandemic, many days tracking ahead of 2019 levels.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it goes back to even with the finances, it's still pent-up demand. You and I talked about it pre-taping about what will it be 6 months to a year from now. And only time's going to tell. But they are riding this. Well, they even talked about it during the quarterly earnings report. And even I think Michael Eisner, he was recently on CNBC, said, Disney has always fared well during economic slowdowns. Now, depending on how you look at it, it seems by a lot of people that the United States is heading into an economic slowdown. So far, it has not hurt Disney one bit. And my 2 cents, my opinion, is it's not going to hurt Disney anytime soon. Because the people who have money still have money. We were locked up for nearly 2 years with restrictions to some extent. And I think that pent-up demand is not going to stop anytime soon, and people are going to continue to go, and Disney knows this. I mean, I think it might flatten out depending on the economy 6 months or a year from now. It might level out, but I don't think they're going to take a hit. I really don't, unless something drastic happens, and then we're all in trouble. I don't see anything drastically changing. What do you think?
Yeah, I slightly disagree with you on that. I think that the proof's going to be in about a year from now because you're going to start to see the effects of the people who haven't renewed their annual passes and the people who have have become more disgruntled with the way Disney has increased their prices and the way that the customer service level has dropped off. I don't think you're going to see that impact the parks probably for about another year or so. But in 2020, the really the proof's going to be around maybe early 2024 to see how they're doing at that point. One of the things I noticed that was published probably in the last week or so was how if you don't purchase a package through them, you can only book a hotel a year out. So that tells me that they're looking at their numbers for 23 and their hotel reservations, their bookings, and they're looking at them and saying, okay, we're pretty booked up, so we can make that sort of a proclamation. So that tells me that 23 is probably going to be another relatively busy year for them. But again, you can't have the amount of negativity that they've had over the last year and a half and not have it affect your bottom line, unless everybody's just lying. Unless everybody gets on these websites and these podcasts and they all, pound the table and say, I'm not going back, and everybody's going back and they're just lying and they're BSing everybody. But I think that, at the end of the day, I think there are a lot of people out there, especially families, that are probably going to, if maybe not necessarily stop going, but they will definitely change the way they vacation and the way how frequently they go back. I think is probably what you're going to see going forward. But I think it will affect them down the road. Now, let's not forget that they have other revenue streams. So although on this report the parks were very good, they were strong, I think that's just from pent up demand, and we've talked about that in the past. I think people have had vacations sitting on the table now for a couple of years, and they're finally able to go down, or they've been able to reschedule. They feel comfortable traveling, and now they're finally going, and that's why you're seeing, I think, this huge inflow into the parks. And you got to remember, people missed out on a lot of things. They missed out on Mickey's Halloween parties and Mickey's Christmas parties. So you're going to see this year's events probably pretty full, but they also increased the price on those events. So again, how much are people willing to spend?
Well, let me ask you something, Walt. We briefly talked about it. The changes coming to the park reservation system. So you do it more than I, and we talked pre-show. I don't make the park since the park reservation system went into effect. My wife is always taking care of that. I take care of dining. She took care of, back when it was there, she took care of the fast passes. So now she takes care of the park reservation system, and I still take care of the dining. So correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure I read the article right. The park reservation system, pre this change, if I booked, say, Epcot, and then the day of I looked and Hollywood Studios had openings, and I says, you know what, Walt, I don't want to go to Epcot today. I want to go to Hollywood Studios. I couldn't alter my reservation. I had to cancel my reservation and then reapply for Hollywood Studios, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So your group, your reservation, if you were connected in your group to one park, that's the park you would have to go to.
Okay.
As a group. Now, you could cancel that park in the morning collectively as a group, but if one of the individuals in that group wanted to go to a different park, you would not be able to do that. You'd have to be together. Whereas with this new system that they just implemented, I think this week, if someone in your party wants to go to a different park, they can switch out with, apparently it seems like it's pretty easy to do. I mean, I'm sure down the road we'll probably hear complaints about glitches in the system, because it seems like they always have some sort of glitch in their system. But that is that seems to be what they've tried to fix, which makes sense, because if you have a family of 4 and, one of the kids or both of the kids don't want to go to Epcot that day, but they'd rather go to Hollywood Studios, then this way you don't have to all go to Hollywood Studios. The kids can go to Hollywood Studios, you can go to Epcot, and so that frees up a lot of. It gives you a little bit more. They gave you back a morsel of freedom that they took away from you. They took away a chunk and they gave you back like a tiny little bit.
Well, yeah. What I was also seeing in the article too is that, like I said earlier, if you had, you're now able to, you don't have to drop the reservation in order to get the other one. There's going to be, I guess, an option button now. So if you have Epcot and you wanted to go to Hollywood Studios, you could edit your reservation without having to drop it and then reapply for the reservation at another park, which I think is good, because it did happen to us one time. I think it was last year, one of our trips, my wife wanted to make a last minute change. We wanted to go to a different park. So what we did is you had to drop the reservation, and then we couldn't pick up the next park. So like, as you said, the glitch. There was a glitch. Of course, then we went to customer service and they rectified it very quickly. And we were able to get the park no matter, I don't know if it was full or what, but they made it happen. So, good job by the cast members. But you're right, though. There's a lot of glitches. So how smooth is this going to be? I don't know. But I'll tell you, though, not to get off topic, the other night I was booking dining reservations, and it happened multiple times. As you fill out the information, I have my credit card on file already. I go to submit, and it's like, oh, can't complete. So I had to refresh like 3 times in order for the transaction finally to go through. Now, luckily, each time I didn't lose the reservation, but I had that happen to me in the past. One time with not 50s Prime Time, the other one, Sci-Fi in Hollywood Studios. I was coming back on day after day after day, and a reservation finally came up for early evening dinner, and that's where my daughter loves to go, and she was coming with us that time. And lo and behold, I fill out all the information, and voila, the glitch. And by the time you've refreshed, boom, it was gone. Now, luckily, I think it was like a day before. As the closer you get to the day you want to go, you do have people dumping back into the system. Because we all know how to, if you and I, Walt, are going together, I book a party of 2, but I just don't add Walter. I say it's 2 people going. And then Walter could go on and book something else for the same time for 2, and you and I will go, and then that's how then that's why you have the dump the closer you get. So I've generally always gotten anything I've wanted. Sometimes it comes down to the 11th hour. But yeah, the glitches, they bother me. This is a Fortune 500 company.
Yep, I've had that happen where I've made a reservation at Steakhouse 71, and I've had one of those glitches. And then you go in and you make the reservation, and then you find out in your My Disney Experience that you now have 2 reservations for the same exact time.
It's crazy.
And then when you go in to try to cancel it, it doesn't let you cancel the first one you made. So I've had to go. Actually, went to the check-in counter at Steakhouse 71, and they were nice enough to remove it when we went for our reservation because they realized that obviously I wasn't going to be going twice on the same day, back to back. Yeah. So yeah. So but again, you're right. I mean, it there are these little things in there that annoy the heck out of you, and it just it shouldn't be happening. So and like you said, you're also risking not getting it because then if somebody else hops on and says, oh, look, there's a reservation for California Grill and Kenny's on there and all of a sudden his froze and now they get on and they get it. Now you're not going to get yours. So
that's true. And it happens. It happens a lot.
Yep.
It happens a lot.
So you're looks like you're going to be heading out on Monday.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And you're staying at the Boardwalk.
Correct.
What did you get a 1-bedroom this time? I believe.
Yeah, so we have a 1-bedroom. It's myself, my wife, and my daughter going down for 4 days. We're leaving early Monday morning. So fingers crossed, because we haven't had much luck, you or I, out of Newark lately. No matter if it's good weather, bad weather, or in between. that I get out. I'm hoping if it's not on time, it's relatively on time, so I
Yeah.
don't lose a whole day because we're leaving early Monday and coming back Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening. So it's a quick trip. It's one of the shortest I've ever taken there. But if you remember from previous episodes, we originally had a trip planned to Hilton Head, the Disney Vacation Club, and if those old reservations would have stayed, I would have been leaving tomorrow. But we had an anniversary party coming up for this weekend, so we altered our plans. We're going to be attending that and then going to Disney World for 4 days come Monday.
Let's hope that your pilots don't call out sick on Monday.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not.
But don't worry, just give me a call and I'll shoot over to the airport and fly you down. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So it looks like you made some pretty interesting reservations for your meals.
So,
You mentioned to me that you're going to be having breakfast at Cape May Cafe over at my favorite place at the Beach Club.
that's correct. So, yeah, so we're going to do Cape May Cafe one morning, and that's just because this will be my second time doing it. We went there back in April together, I loved it. And I know there's a lot of places to go, but I'm not in the mood for a character breakfast. It's literally a walk away. So we have a reservation for there. We have a reservation for Chef Art Smith's, which I'm totally excited for. You have eaten there several times.
Yes.
I have friends that I work with and other people that have raved about Chef Art Smith's, and I was able to get a reservation for there. So, especially after I seen those deviled eggs, and we'll be reviewing it once I come back in some future episodes. It just looks delicious there. But Walt, you've had high praise for Chef Art Smith's, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The deviled eggs are outstanding. Basically, anything on the menu is really good. And I'm actually looking forward to maybe you could do a little video recording while you're eating your deviled eggs, just to give us a review of what you think of them. When
I
you're
will.
down
I
there.
did before tonight. I had to find the stuff because my house is a little bit under construction right now, and I had to make sure where the tripod was and a little microphone for the one that we did the report for,
Yeah.
the review from Baseline. So I'm going to try and do a little bit while we're down there, so we have a little bit of recordings for the future. But I am super excited for Chef Art Smith's. Another place that I've gone before, to which we could review in the future. I don't think you've eaten there, Walt. Ale and Compass, again, over at the Yacht Club. I enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot over there. They have a buffalo cauliflower appetizer. Meadow loves it, but oh my god! I mean, it's legit. It's really good.
Yeah, I
Their
have never
dinners are
tried it,
good.
but I want to.
Yeah, I've had dinners at Ale and Compass before. I've had lunches at Ale and Compass pre-pandemic, and the lunches only recently came back because it was they were doing breakfast. I think breakfast and dinner, but now all three is back. So you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner there again, and I really do enjoy it. So it's another stone throw away from Boardwalk. I don't have to travel nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we are going back to, which we did review back in April, and it's because my wife wants to go there, is Brick's Sports Bar and Grill over at Coronado Springs. We have a lunch appointment over there. And it's funny, I was listening to another podcast the other day, and I didn't realize that Shula's Steakhouse, and I should have asked you, one of their locations is in the Dolphin, the Swan and Dolphin Resort. So you and I talked about it the other day when I made the reservation. Yes, it looks very expensive, but everybody I've spoken with says it's very good. So I'm super excited to go try something different. And some people will say, "Oh, well, it's not on Disney property." It's on Disney property. It's right on Disney property. It's another place I could walk to. Yes, it's not owned by Disney, but I just want to try something different. It's something. I looked at the pictures. It looks really nice inside. No, I'm not a Dolphins fan, but that's all right.
No, I think you'll enjoy the meal. I just I didn't want you to have sticker shock when you see the check come over.
I
didn't
probably won't, but my wife will.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to come visit you in the hospital down there because
You might visit her.
you passed out after you got the check because it's a little pricey. I enjoyed the food. I found the atmosphere to be a little bit loud when I was there. A lot of executive types in there, usually after a rambunctious day on the golf course, and they were pretty loud in there. So it could have been just the couple nights that I was there, the two different times, but the food was good. The cuts of meat are outstanding, but again, it depends on how much you want to spend. For me, the one time we went there most recently was for my wife's 49th birthday last year, and so that was a special occasion. We went there, and I don't recall it being as pricey as it is now. When I looked up the prices now, I was a little bit surprised. But and that was actually something that we had discussed, you and I, in a conversation that we had, because we actually had talked about Le Cellier, and we discussed if Le Cellier is actually pricing itself out of our top 5 list that it's been perched on for so long, because when I was just there most recently, the filet is now $59, and a side vegetable is anywhere between $13 to $15. So, it's getting pretty steep when you consider that you can have a steak on property at other locations like Steakhouse 71, or now I haven't checked. I'm going to say Topolino's off the top of my head, but I haven't checked recently what their prices are. But both places have, and California Grill, which is a prefix menu at $89, and that includes an appetizer and a dessert. So, is it as good as Le Cellier? Of course, the quality's not as good, but is it $10 or $15 or $20 more? Probably not, in my opinion. But just like with Shula's right now, a 10 ounce at Shula's is, I believe, $78. So, that's getting a little bit out of my comfort zone for dinner. So
that is high.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty steep. I mean, that would have to be like the best steak I've ever had in my life at that price point. Anything short of that would be super disappointing. And that's the problem when you get to these restaurants that are high end, is if you do get a disappointing meal, it's really disappointing because of the amount of money that you're spending. It's not like if you're going to the Outback Steakhouse and you didn't get a very good cut. You're out maybe $25 or $30, whereas, in Disney, you're going to be out a couple $100. So, but I don't know how you feel about the price points at Le Cellier. I know we talked about it, and we didn't really get in depth on it, but, that's one of those things that's interesting. So I know you're also going to possibly try to get over to Geyser Point on this trip, and maybe Primo Piatto if you can squeeze it in.
Yes, I love Primo Piatto. Primo Piatto is probably my second or third best quick service on property. Captain Cook's is a strong number one. I don't think anybody's taking Captain Cook's down anytime soon. But yeah, Primo Piatto is a good place. It reminds me, not by decor, so everyone relax, because I know Primo Piatto and Captain Cook's, I'm talking about the size of the area itself. It reminds you a lot of how small Captain Cook's is how small pretty much they made Primo Piatto over at Riviera, but it is good. They have a great tomato basil soup over there. I had a good Italian sub over there. I think I also had the grilled cheese over there. That was good. But yes, I've been to places that can mess up grilled cheese. But yeah, good vibe over there. I do like visiting the Riviera a lot. That's also one of my favorite resorts to visit, is Riviera. But yeah, I do want to get over. My wife is a big fan of Geyser Point. I just put up a poll over on our Instagram page today, and the results are very high, I think, so far for heading out to Geyser Point, which is, if you've not visited Geyser Point for lunch, you do not need a reservation. It is technically considered a quick service restaurant, but it is not a quick service restaurant. It's an open air bar directly on Bay Lake. It's just, if you're looking for good food, great bison burger, by the way. But if you're looking for great food and a great place to escape, like say you're at Magic Kingdom, take the ferry, the boat over to Wilderness Lodge, and it's a great place to go.
Mm-hmm.
We've eaten there several times, and would I go there when it's scorching hot? Like I said, she wants to go. I haven't checked the weather yet for next week. I'm assuming it's going to be hot, so it all depends on that. And then we're also looking. I know because we talk about each time you and I go, we do want to check out some lounges. We're probably going to take a ride over to the Grand Floridian as well to check out the Enchanted Rose. I've seen nothing but good reviews on that with its retheming, so I want to check that out as well. And if we do so, I'll grab as much video and pictures as possible.
So you have a jam-packed 3 days there. It looks pretty. You're going to be pretty busy. So I'm looking forward to all of those reviews coming in, and we'll have a lot to discuss on the next episode.
Real quick, the problem is I'm still a pass holder. My daughter's going to buy, I believe, a 2-day pass or hopper. She hasn't decided yet. And as of filming, my wife is still dead set on not buying a park reservation system.
Oh, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, and if she does, then it's going to snow in Jersey in late August, because she is hell bent on. I would not say anti-Disney. She's anti all the changes, and it has really ticked her off to a point where she's like, "I'm going because I like the resorts. I'm going to go sit by the pool for 4 days." And I'm literally not going to go into a park. So the running joke in the house is, she wants fish and chips or something from Epcot. So my daughter and I are going to go over into Epcot because we still want to check out the Food and Wine Festival, and we're going to wave the food over the bridge by France so she could see us. I'm like, well, you can't come in. But before we wrap up my little upcoming trip report. I'm also going to do as much live as possible on our Instagram page and take as many photos as possible, because Wednesday night is Moonlight Magic, which is an exclusive event for Disney Vacation Club members only at Animal Kingdom. So we were able to obtain tickets for that, so we will be there and bring you as much footage as we can. So I'm excited for that, because I have done 2 so far. Since becoming a member. I've done, you and I were actually at one together at Hollywood Studios, and then the second one was over at Animal Kingdom, both pre-pandemic. So I'm a little excited. You usually have good merch. It comes with a free dinner, tables, counter service, and there's usually some special characters that come out. So I'm excited. Because
Absolutely.
it's usually not. Yeah.
I actually would also recommend you take a walk through Pandora, because at night, and I have not had an opportunity to go through there recently at night just because of dining reservations and obligations that we've had, but I've heard and I've seen it, and it's very, very, very beautiful at night, and you can take a lot of great photos and shoot some pretty good video. So I would recommend you take a walk through Pandora while you're in there, especially since it is Moonlight Magic, so it's going to be lit up.
And if we could coordinate it, because I don't know what our schedules are going to be, maybe if you're lucky, and I know I said last time, but we couldn't do it when Walter was there, is maybe I jump on Instagram Live and get Walter on, and then we could do a little quick little Instagram Live from Walt Disney World, and if you want to shoot us some questions. So we'll keep you updated with that, see if our schedules will allow it. We could do a 15-20 minute real quick live from WDW. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get out of town. It's well needed. Like I said, I vacation, if you want to call it that, down to Jersey Shore, but it's nice to get that, as I say at home, distance from good old New Jersey down, I need the distance. Even if it's only for a few days.
You're going to but unfortunately this time you're going to the sun.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, we are going
Because
to
it's
the
going to
sun.
be like 200 degrees down there.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to sweat. It's up in the air whether we're going to go again because we have talked about going back at Christmas time, and we do. And if I got my information right, I have not looked because my wife does that as well. We should have enough points, especially now that you could borrow everything from the following year again, to go around Christmas time. But we also like to go in January for the Festival of the Arts, which is arguably my favorite one. I even if it's not, I love the Festival of the Arts. And I'm not really an artsy guy, but like everything you even see behind me is actually signed by the artist. So he does great work. So yeah, so I'm hoping after this trip to get one more trip before the end of the year, but fingers crossed. But
Yeah.
first I want to be able to get to Florida and bake in the sun for a couple days down by the pool. And
Well, I think your wife has a great idea of staying out of the parks because it's just so warm that it's really tough to enjoy it completely. I think you're going to probably enjoy Moonlight Magic just simply because you're going to be out of the sun for even, but even at night it's still pretty balmy. But I think that's not a bad idea to just hang out at the pool, especially this time of the year. My last trip was excruciatingly hot, and I felt the same way. And every time I was in the parks, it was just not enjoyable. Between the crowds and the heat and the humidity, my sweat was sweating. So it's just again, I you're going to go. Food and wine might be a little bit rough on this trip
might
just
be.
because of the heat, but hanging out at the pool, I think, is a great idea. And like you said, it's a good break. Gets you away from
yeah, sometimes you need that disconnect.
the
And
stress
I'm there.
of work. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about a couple of news items that hit this week regarding a product that happens to be most folks' favorite product at Disney in your rooms, which is the H2O bath products. The company announced that after 33 years, they are closing down. So that will terminate the relationship they've had with the Walt Disney Company, and they will no longer be offering those products. I believe it's still available through the end of the year, Ken, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if I read the article correctly, I don't think as of now you can even buy directly from their website. Any of the remaining of their products would have to be purchased through Amazon for the remainder
Yes.
of the year. I'm assuming Disney will have enough stock to get them through the rest of the year. I would assume that, since Disney's probably their largest buyer, that they're well taken care of to get us through the next, the next 4 months.
I read where you could also purchase it through Shop Disney as well.
Yes, and I believe I was on Shop Disney yesterday, and it was that 30% off. So people are probably going crazy buying the H2O products. Now, it's real funny. Now, you know me, I am my wife laughed, because when I came home yesterday and I told them about the article, they both laughed at me, because I said, well, as of April, Boardwalk was still, the toiletries you were able to get in the travel sizes, they weren't anchored to the wall. So I said, guess what? When we go this week, I said, we got to pack as much crap in there as possible. And I have a ton. Like, I have a small fallout shelter of H2O products from all my trips. Because just like the coffee, I usually call every day to the resorts and be like, I need more soap. I need more lotion. I need more conditioner. And they bring it down. And not this past trip in April, but last fall when I went, I called down and I said, I need all soap. And I said, just bring me everything. And it's funny. They literally bought me a huge bag filled to the tier. And I dispersed it because, TSA, you can only bring so much liquids. So I dispersed it between the four of us throughout their bags. And, you thought I was a junkie. I was like, well, you're getting this amount, and you're getting this amount, and you're getting this amount. And I was like, everyone's spread out. I was like, we're not getting patted down by TSA. I said, we got to get the goods home. So I'm disappointed. But you and I talked pre-show, and my wife said the same thing. I think your wife said the same thing. And
Yeah, we did a
yeah.
two-person poll, and the
Yes.
two-person poll that we did is that the female gender does not really care for the H2O products. In fact, they're actually glad that they're gone. Now, I did also, I've also a few other people I've talked to that are Disney fans that also are female happen to think the same thing. So, seems like it's a little bit of a trend. We could be completely wrong about that, but at least from our end of things, it seems like the ladies don't really care for the H2O brand. But I have seen a lot of positive comments online from women about that product. So, it could be just us on our end. But
Well, it is funny because I did look at some of the Facebook groups that I belong to, and I was shocked to see a lot of negative about the H2O product. And a lot of it was women about how they just did not, it was not good for their hair. It dried their hair out, and they either said they were very happy that it was leaving, or that they said that all the trips they always brought their own shampoo and conditioner. Now, me, I personally love it. And I don't use it much when I'm home because I think that scent always reminds me of Disney. So when I need to pick me up, it's always like, let's use the sea salt today. And then it's like, oh, wow. It gives you like that couple minutes of like, all right, I'm back home. I know that sounds a little weird, but it smells good. Like just like the candles, Walt.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Just like the candles, they bring you back to your happy place.
Yeah.
And that smell for the last 16 years has been part of Walt Disney World. And when I first started going, which I liked, which of course they cut out, is that depending on the value resort that you stayed at, the soap bottles were decorated differently. So like you had like at the value resorts, I think it was like with the caps with the Mickey Minnie ears. And then if you went to the deluxe resorts, it had more of Tinkerbell on it. Remember, they had all the different wrappings depending on if you stayed at a moderate resort, value, deluxe, the soaps looked different, no, even though it was exactly the same. So I even have some of those still stashed. Not a lot, but yeah, the good old days. But yes, for me, particularly, H2O will be missed.
Yes. And one of the other news items, the Skyliner is going to be shutting down for a week in January. Now, do you have those exact dates, Ken, in January? Do you remember what they were?
So Disney announced January 22nd through the 29th, the entire Skyliner route will be closed for routine refurbishment. Now, I know in the past they would close like one line off and say, well, 2 days for, like the line from, say, Epcot to Caribbean Beach, or one of them would be under. But this is a full closure of the Skyliner from January 22nd through the 29th. So if you're booking a vacation for the Festival of the Arts in early January or late January, just take that into account if you're going to be staying at a Skyliner resort, which I consider beach, yacht, and boardwalk a Skyliner resort.
Yes, I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's
within
as silly
walking
as not.
distance. You could even throw the Swan and Dolphin in there as well. I mean, that's a
Yes.
little bit of a stretch of a walk, but you could just walk through the Yacht and Beach Club to get to the Skyliner. So on a January day in Florida, that's actually not a bad walk. You don't want to make that walk in June or July. You may have to call the rescue squad before you get to the Skyliner. But in the cooler months of the year, that's a very enjoyable walk. And I agree with you. I think you could consider that a Skyliner resort. I actually was thinking along the same lines as you, and possibly making a trip down in January at some point, maybe to take advantage of that Festival of the Arts, like you mentioned. And who knows, maybe we'll plan a trip together at that time of the year. But we definitely will be avoiding the 22nd to the 29th because we do miss our Skyliner. So that's something that, it's too much of convenience right now to not have that available to you.
But think about this, Walt. Before we wrap, they don't consider them Skyliner resorts, right? But if you're staying at Pop Century or Art of Animation on the far end of the property, think about how long of a walk that is to the Skyliner, and you're a Skyliner resort.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I don't understand it.
It's a significant walk from that far of a distance. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's why, I mean, okay, because I guess they consider it's the Epcot, station. But I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Hogwash.
Yeah.
So, you got anything else before you want to wrap?
No, I think that's about it. I think we covered most of the bases. We had a topic that I think we're going to delve into on a future show. I think it deserves a little bit more time than possibly what we were going to devote to it today, which is
That's true.
doing a full review of Saratoga Springs, the resort, the amenities on the resort, and then also kind of giving you an overview of the dining options that are available at Disney Springs, which is a short walk from Saratoga Springs, and there's quite a bit there that we've both eaten at, and we can give you a little bit of a background and some opinions and thoughts on places that you could dine at and enjoy. And Kenny will have a brand new review on Chef Art Smith's when he gets back, so we could tie that in as well.
Nope, I totally agree. And like I said, we were going to talk about it today, but looking at where we're at recording-wise, we wouldn't be able to dive into it and give it the attention you people would want and what it's deserved. So we will save that for our next episode. But
yes, sir. So enjoy your trip. I will be shedding a tear. I wish I could go with you. But see if we can maybe do something on Instagram. We'll see if we can try to squeeze something in and maybe do a little quick
quick
review.
15, 20-minute show review. I'll jump on live from WDW, and, I think you guys would like that out there. So,
Yep.
All right. Well, it's been good as always. We're glad to be back.
Likewise.
So, all right, folks, that's going to do
care.
it for this episode of the Disney Resorts Podcast. For Walt Ramirez, I'm Kenny Hayes. Take care, everybody.